Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be the highly requested return of my You Do Not Need That series, which is especially for those of you who are on a no buy, who are on a low buy, who are trying to cut back on makeup spending for whatever reason is personal to you. I'm going to be talking you out of purchasing all of these new, very tempting new and upcoming makeup releases. So if you need some help steering clear of FOMO, steering clear of getting lured in by all the usual temptations, then this is the video for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So this video comes with a warning, okay? Take heed, take it. Take the heed. Sorry, because it's January. I don't know if you've noticed, but a new year has befallen us, okay? We are victims of January. And December kind of lures us into a false sense of security in the beauty community, in the makeup space, because releases really slow down as we head into Christmas. And then it's like, boom, January hits and suddenly the most tempting releases are raining down upon us like a hailstorm. There's no getting away from them. So this is a terrible time of year if you're trying to save money on makeup, if you're trying to avoid buying new purchases, being lured in by very alluring products. So I'm here to help. I'm here to do the best I can. But I have to start with that warning that these releases are not slowing down. This January, February, March time in our calendars, it's always crazy for new launches, for new releases. And I feel like spring is a very aesthetic kind of phase for makeup. Autumn and winter makeup, sure, it's lovely, it's beautiful. Spring, they hit us with the flowers, with the pretty colours, and it's just too much. Apparently my left eye wants to cry about it, it's so much. So one of the easiest ways to douse the flames that are burning in our makeup loving loins is to remember there's always something more exciting around the corner. So if you're not on a full no buy, I don't want to buy any more makeup this year at all, you just want to be really picky, really fussy. You really only want to buy things that are really special and different and something you don't have. Just remember, there's always something more exciting around the corner. And the last thing you want to do is buy something mediocre with your money and then regret it when something more exciting comes the next week. So that is a very good tactic when we're talking about all of these releases I'm about to go through in this video. Just remember, is that the most exciting something could be? Because if not, something more exciting is coming. So wait for it. Why won't my eye stop watering? Okay, so kicking us off, it's a three for the price of one. It doesn't get better than that, okay? We've got the Hourglass foundation, the Dior foundation, we've got the ABH foundation. We're gonna start, easy for you to say, not so much me. We're gonna kick off with a foundation trio, okay? Foundations as a category. We've already got another one about to pounce from Guerlain, okay? So very much remember what we already talked about at the beginning of this video. There's always something else around the corner. Something else more exciting is coming. There's already the Guerlain foundation coming. So here's the thing about foundations. Number one, they're always permanent, okay? So there is absolutely no reason ever to go out and buy all three of these on a whim in case one of them is your new holy grail, because how are you ever going to know if you've bought three at once? Maybe the first one was it and the other two a complete waste of money and a waste of everybody's time. Stop wasting our time, okay? So here's the thing. I feel like makeup content creators such as myself, me included, I am guilty. I will buy all of the foundations to review for you guys. And I feel like it really normalizes buying them all, even though, you know, these are different for different people with different preferences. Some of them are glowier. The ABH is more matte. The Dior is a little more natural coverage. The ABH is a bit more full coverage. All of these are not going to work for every person. And I haven't actually purchased the ABH foundation because I know it's just not for me. It's not my preference. And I haven't got time. There's so many foundations releasing. I actually physically don't have time to review them all. So that's crazy. That's spring for you. So there's number one, all of the new foundations coming out, there's going to be one that's more your cup of tea than the others. So instead of buying all four, maybe consider a bit more heavily just which one you might want to try at some point. And again, there's no rush. Content creators like myself, we have to get the reviews out as quickly as possible to help you guys as much as possible with things like shade matches and how things look on the skin and how things work for us. So that's why you always see content creators buying everything that comes out as soon as possible. The video is up, and it kind of creates this normality, this normalization of doing that. But actually, as a regular consumer, you have the gift of time. Okay, wait a good few weeks, listen to the reviews, not just the first impressions, but the longer term impressions. How are these foundations going over a few weeks? By the time we get to our monthly roundups, do we feel the same way about them? Watch lots of videos. Also, something that I have to do for my job is buy my shades online, and I'm very, very good at it, but I still get it wrong, and I got it wrong with the Hourglass foundation. I'm still trying to find my perfect shade in that. I've had to buy 3 shades so far, and I'm probably going to buy a 4th. That's fine for me because, you know, I make a profit from buying makeup. But if you don't, that's such a waste of money. Even if that foundation turns out to be a holy grail, you only need one. You've only got one face. So 4 of them is such a waste of money that you could have put somewhere else. So here's my advice. If you are really excited about all of these new foundations, instead of ordering all 4 of them online, instead, choose, watch, listen, try to work out which is the one that would most suit your needs and your intentions. Go into a store, get shade matched and ask for a sample. Try it yourself for a little bit of time and make a considered choice, because there's nothing worse than buying a foundation online and it being the wrong shade, or actually it just doesn't work for you like it does for me or whichever content creators you watch that it worked for, that made you really excited to buy it. It's just, makeup is so subjective and it works so differently depending on your skin type, your age, what your skin is doing, your aging issues, your aging areas, the different skincare and primers that we use. So it's no guarantee if it works for me or it works for whoever else that you watch, that it is going to work for you exactly the same way. Please, if you can, give it some time, keep watching reviews, keep watching longer term thoughts. Are we still using these foundations, or have they kind of not stood up to the test of time? Go and get shade matched, get a sample, try it for yourself. There's no rush. These are not being discontinued. They're not limited edition. Wait, try it out, and then you'll have way more regrets and way more money for more exciting things. Next up, let's talk about the new Patrick Ta blush duos, because I feel like, myself included, a lot of us got very excited about these, okay? I'm wearing one of them today. I'm wearing, which one? She's Seductive, which was the one that I was most excited to try. And these blush duos are really pretty. They're really nice blush duos. I feel like they're very alluring to those of us who love a blush, because they have a cream and a powder, and I feel like Patrick Ta, he's just a genius when it comes to makeup. He always uses incredible, stunning 20-year-old models with perfect skin. Whether he's doing their makeup or that's what he's reposting on his feed, with very bright, harsh light that makes them look much, much more glowy than they would day to day in natural daylight. And I feel like a lot of that is, it's really sucks us in and makes us think, oh my God, this is going to change my life. I'm going to become one of those 21-year-old models with perfect skin under perfect lighting as soon as I put this blush on. And the reality is, they're nice. They're nice blush duos. If you have a few of them, you've probably got something similar to these new shades that came out, because they aren't crazily different to some of the others that he's already released, and these blushes are permanent. So again, ask for them for your birthday, ask for them for Christmas, put them on a wish list, wait for a sale at least to get a little cheeky discount, because these are not going anywhere. They may sell out, but they're always going to be restocked because they're not limited edition, they are permanent shades. So if you especially really want them still, after you've given yourself a couple of weeks cooling off period and you're still thinking about them, then you know it's worth it to put it on your birthday list. I've got a birthday coming up and I have makeup on my list, okay? Even me, I even have makeup that I don't just instantly buy. I think, no, I'll let someone else buy that for me. It's a lot more fun that way. Talking of blushes, let's talk about these YSL blushes. Oh, these are very tempting, aren't they? I think they have the perfect storm here in that they released a whole load of blushes and they whacked one of our most tempting pulling techniques right on top, that stunning packaging. YSL have definitely got it down now. They've definitely realized they're onto us. Whack this stunning, beautiful, very elegant, aesthetically pleasing packaging on anything and we're all going to go nuts and buy it. Regardless of how much we do or don't need it, or we do or don't have something very, very similar already, the packaging of this makes it look and feel like something we don't have. But at its core, these are very done shades of blush. There's nothing unique or special or different here. There are peachy blushes. A lot of these seem to run very pink. There's a lot of pink in here, and there's a couple of different finishes. Some are very shimmery, some are matte, but at the end of the day, these are done blush shades. We've got some pinks, a berry, a couple of peachy shades. Nothing outrageous, nothing different that we haven't already got 10 each of each shade of. I've ordered one of these, and even that one, I only ordered it because I thought it's such a big launch. I need to review the product and give you guys my thoughts. You know, it's a product that is important for me to have an opinion on and to share my thoughts on because it's one that's been so much talked about in the beauty space. But do I think this blush is going to knock my socks off, be different to any of my other blushes, or become one of my all-time favorites? I really don't. I feel like on application, I'm going to think, it's okay. It's just okay. It's not that exciting. And that's an expensive blush. If you buy a couple of these, oh, that's expensive. That's a Natasha Denona midi palette. That's a foundation, and that's something you can use every day. You know, if you're looking at buying one of those foundations that we talked about in the beginning and you're going to really consider that purchase and wait for a sale, that's going to be something you can use every day for a year. Whereas this blush, if it doesn't really work out to be that special or different, it's going to go in the bottom of a drawer. The hype and the excitement around these is all about the packaging and the colours, the different colours on the different blush shades, which, let's be honest, I don't know why we've got so carried away about it. I think we all need to calm down and remember that's just a very average blush, of which we have many. Next up, we're going to talk about these new Dior bronzers. Again, Dior have cottoned on to the winning recipe when it comes to getting us to buy things that we don't need that we already have. And they've whacked this gorgeous packaging on the front of these, and they've also got that beautiful embossing, and they've confused us by throwing a load of shades and matte and luminous finishes. So on first glance, we think, oh my God, this is what we've been waiting for. This is everything. It's everything. It's everything we ever wanted. The packaging, the shades, the undertones, the finish. There's something that seems perfect for everybody. But as you'll know if you watch my reviews, all of these shades are very, very close to each other. They're very, very similar. It's kind of hard if you're super fair or super deep to find a shade here that will work for you whatsoever. And I feel like one of the extra things that's really grabbing us and telling us we need these desperately is that they're kind of slowly filtering out to be released in different countries. We've had them here for weeks. I don't think they're in America yet, are they? If they are, they've only just arrived. They took quite a long time, and I feel like that all builds up that feeling that you need them because you can't get them. What is wrong with us? We all want what we can't have, don't we? As soon as something isn't available to us, it becomes something that we need and want more badly than anything else. But in reality, these are just bronzers. We've got so many bronzers at this point. We don't need any more ever again. Okay, but again, these appear to be permanent, so there is no rush. Wait for a sale, wait for your birthday, wait for an opportunity to actually test the product, swatch it, make sure at least that the shade is going to work for you, because these are really expensive. These are nearly £50 each. 2 of these is a mothership with a discount. Okay, so think about it. Again, is this really something you really need? Do you not have bronzers that you like already? I think you do. I think you probably have the Charlotte Tilbury. You might even have the Charlotte Tilbury cream and the powder. You probably have the YSL bronzer. Maybe you tried the RMS. Maybe you tried the Armani. Maybe you also have one from MAC that you haven't used for years. You've probably got the Hourglass palettes from Holiday that have bronzers in them. So use what you have, I beg you. Next up, the Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt. Now, whenever I talk about items that have a smaller price tag, this is not, you know, a 50, 60, 80 pound, 120 pound mothership palette. Lots of people think that if it's a small price tag, it doesn't count as spending money. Girl math. You know, because it starts with a 2, it's free. Essentially, that's what we tell ourselves. These little £20, a lipstick from MAC, a single eyeshadow, perhaps a mascara. We all tell ourselves that these purchases don't count. But as I keep saying, 3, 4 or 5 of these adds up to a mothership, adds up to a Natasha Denona midi palette. Do you really want and need this £5? Because it is a very unnecessary done colour story. You know, if you already have Bieber, if you already have a few of Natasha's midi palettes, I need a warm, I need a nude, I need a break, I need a coffee. We have many of those things that we actually, in fact, do not need. We've got a lot of these matte skin tones, and I think we justify this without any thought as to whether we need or want it, because it's a smaller 2-digit price tag and we think it's free, but it's not. And over the year, those little thoughtless £20 here, £20 there, £25, they add up to a lot of money that could have afforded us a really expensive luxury foundation that we're going to get a year's use out of, or that new very exciting mothership that we all hope is coming, please. And I fear these little purchases could be put in a little savings bank for makeup purchases that you actually really want and will get a lot of love and joy and use out of. Just something to think about. I think we should all start makeup savings accounts. That sounds fun. Next up, we're going to talk about one of the most tempting, eyeball feeding releases that I've seen so far this year. This is Tom Ford's Rose Exposed. How dare he do this to us? Rarely have I seen quite such a sexy eyeshadow quad. Okay, this is without question one of the sexiest looking releases that I've seen so far this year, and there's quite a few of them out there. Okay, this is, I'm not going to lie to you, it looks very beautiful, very gorgeous and romantic and pretty and feminine, and it's pulling at all of our heartstrings with those little roses. How could it not be a delight and a joy? But here's the thing, okay? I have an unpopular opinion about Tom Ford eyeshadow quads. I spoke about this in my Makeup I'm Not Buying Anymore video. I don't like Tom Ford eyeshadow quads. They're always a little bit disappointing. They're always a little bit lackluster, and the swatches of these, I've yet to see a swatch photo of someone who's bought this and swatched it on their arm that's made me think anything other than this will be an absolute massive waste of £80. I know I won't use this more than once for the review, maybe twice, because I'm trying to force myself to like it because I spent £80. This is absolutely going to get lost and fall by the wayside. If you're into these colour stories, there's so many of them already that you probably already own. These sort of soft, neutral rose leaning colour stories. This is nothing special, I promise you. It's a rather uninspiring formula for me. It's nothing that's going to wow you or knock your socks off. You might open it the first time and think, oh, it's so gorgeous, it's so pretty. But when you start using it, the embossing never looks that pretty after the first few uses. And I just don't think you're going to be wowed or have your socks knocked clean off your feet and look in the mirror and think, I'm so glad I bought this. It was worth every one of my pennies and my pounds. I think you're going to go, I feel like there was a better eyeshadow palette right around the corner that would give me more kapow and more life and joy from it. These are going to be very disappointing because I feel like they're all smoke and mirrors and no reflection. Next up, let's talk about this Hermes Rose. I'm not sure how to say the second word. Please educate me in the comment section. I want to look at this and say hail, but I feel like it's more like Halle or something along those lines. Please tell me in the comment section down below. This blush nearly got me. Okay, what saved me from purchasing this blush is that cooling off period. I had this cooling off period against my will. I'll hold my hands up. It was not through my strength and power that I gave myself a cooling off period for this blush. What happened is I saw it and it hasn't released here yet. It's on the European Hermes website, but it's not landed on the UK one yet. And during my cooling off period between seeing this and being able to buy this, I realized it's not that great. It's not that special. It's ludicrously expensive, of course, because everything from Hermes is. But I knew from the first couple of times I saw this swatch that this was going to disappoint me, like all of these trio powders have from Hermes. They're very highly priced. They're quite heavy of a formula. They're not that glowy. I think that's what I told myself. This is going to be this gorgeous, glowy, rosy blush, which I already have those. I have them from RMS. I have them from Armani. I have them from Nars. I have them from Hourglass. I have them coming out of my ears. So there's number one. I don't need any more. Number two, I know this won't be what I want it to be. What I want this to be is like Hourglass's strobe blushes. It's not as glowy as that. And I don't think the colour, the shade is as special as maybe it looks in the pan in certain lights. So I think this is going to be disappointing. I think if you purchase this without having swatched it first, you most likely will be disappointed as well. And that's so much money to throw away on a blush that's going to be a draw warmer, you know? We're not going to buy it together. I'm doing it too, okay? I've decided I'm not buying it and you aren't either. Don't make me come around there. Next up, we have some new luminizers coming from YSL, and the same exact tricks have been applied to this that were applied to the blush. I tell you, they really know. I don't know if they've been watching my videos. Who told them our secrets? Who told them that if you put this packaging, this gorgeous packaging, on a highlighter and make it look like it's soft and call it a luminizer, we're immediately going to lose all of our logical brains and just buy all three because we're nuts. The packaging is gorgeous. There are three beautiful shades that if you're a fair to a light medium skin tone, you might want to buy all three of these. Any deeper than a medium skin tone, I'm not sure what's happened and why it happened, because typically, YSL's bronzers are quite inclusive. I feel like their blushes could have been better, sure. We all remember the liquid blush gate from the other app that happened, so they make mistakes for sure, but this feels like quite a step back for the brand as far as inclusivity, because all three of these look really light. Now, we don't have a huge amount of information about them yet, so the only thing that could improve this for me, just based on eyeballing it, is if these are very, very sheer, a la the Chanel Rêve de Camellia, so they don't have much base and they actually could work on a lot of skin tones. I don't think that's the case. I'm reading Trendmood's description. It doesn't really mention anything like that. It doesn't say it's sheer. It just says it's a multi-use powder, creamy powder highlighter. So yeah, I definitely want to see more shades. If you're a medium or deeper skin tone, then this has been counted out for you. Unless there's more shades coming. Let's fingers crossed that that is the case. These, if you have a fair to light medium skin tone, I feel like they're very tempting, especially that sort of almost white shade. If you are very fair, I know it's a real struggle for you as well to find a highlighter that isn't going to leave a cast, that doesn't leave colour, that really, really light shade. Immediately you think it's the answer to all of your problems. But hold your horses, because I know, based on the prices of YSL's bronzers in this same packaging and their powders, these are going to be very expensive highlighters. We all have drawers full of highlighters. You don't want to buy another one that isn't going to be different or special to what you already have. And can it possibly be? How? How can it be? I don't know. You tell me. You can't. And if you can't have it. Okay, that's the deal. These are going to be nice highlighters. They're probably going to be on the more natural side. If you already own any of Chanel's highlighters, if you picked up their face palettes last year, if you own the Hourglass palettes that have the more subtle highlighter formula in them, if you own Charlotte Tilbury's highlighters, if you own, let's say, the Hermes original highlighter, you're done. Okay, enough, stop it. And finally, we're going to talk about potentially the most outrageously tempting release that I have seen so far for 2025, and it is this Chanel Spring collection. Holy moly, someone cover my eyeballs. Chanel are another brand that really have been throwing everything at us over the last few years that is really tempting. They've come back to that flower, very, I don't think it's the same, but it's very reminiscent of the camellia. It looks like the eyeshadow has the camellia potentially, but the blush looks like, it looks slightly different to me, maybe a different flower, I'm not sure. Very similar. Here's the thing, Chanel noticed when they released the Symbols highlighters and they had all of the different options, the camellia was the most popular. It's the most beautiful. It's the one that sucks us in, whether we need that product or not. If it's got a camellia on it, we're buying it, okay? They're on to us, okay? And so now they've got an entire collection. We've got an eyeshadow palette with baby camellias on the little 6Z logo on there. However, if you imagine in your mind's eye these same 4 pans without the camellia, just flat, would you be buying that eyeshadow palette? Look me dead in my eyes and don't you dare lie to me. If that was not that beautiful flower, would you still want that eyeshadow palette? No is the answer. I know it, okay? Don't fib here. It's a safe space. We don't lie to each other. Look at those swatches. Are those exciting you? Are you thinking, wow, I've never seen anything like it. I have to have it. No, you're just doing that because it's got a flower, okay? And we're better than that. That's outrageous. Same thing goes when we look at this blush. My first glimpse of this blush nearly lost my breath and my breakfast. Holy moly, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And then I thought, no. Imagine this flat, and you've got every single other limited edition blush that Chanel has released in the last 5 years. This very much reminds me of the Fleur de Printemps blush, but you don't have a highlighter. And these blushes look fairly matte, maybe a more sort of luminous matte to a satin, but there's not much glow here by the looks of these swatches. And so they also kind of remind me of the palettes like the medium rose gold and the medium coral. I fear we've already got these, Chanel. We already have these blushes, and for my preferences, in much glowier, glorious formulas with other products in there with them that make them a better purchase. You've got the bronzer, blush and highlight in their face palettes from last year. You've got the Jeu de Lèvres highlighter palette that they've just released. It has multiple shades that can be used as highlighter on the eye and for blush as well if you have a lighter skin tone. This, I feel like, actually, it's not as exciting as the flower is telling us. So again, imagine this smooth regular pan blush. Would you still want it? Would you still need it? Would you still be putting it on your credit card? I don't think so. I think the reality of this all together opened like that, when you can see all of those flowers, it reads so exciting. And when you look at the swatches and you get to the crux of what is on offer here, it's very skippable. And so there you have it. Those are all of these new makeup releases, hopefully ripped to pieces so you no longer want or need to run out and buy them. Let me know, as always, what are your thoughts on these new releases? Are they tempting you, or are they easy passes for you regardless? Are you saving for something? I have to say, I've already seen 2 or 3 sneak peeks of releases that are coming up in the next few weeks that I can't post yet because they will take my video down, I'm sure of it, and I'll get in big trouble. But we have very exciting new releases coming from Charlotte Tilbury. We've got very exciting releases coming from Lisa Eldridge. We've got very exciting releases coming from Natasha Denona. I've seen them all. So just remember, there's always more, and there's always something else, and there's always something more exciting coming. And if you purchase things that are really not that exciting and don't give you that much joy, that you really didn't need, and you already have something similar, then you're only ever going to regret those purchases when something comes along that actually could really be something you don't have, or something super special, or something that would really give you a lot of makeup joy. So just remember, We don't go broke for makeup. We never pay full price for permanent makeup. We don't get tricked by pictures, embossings and packaging, and we wait for a sale, I beg you. Oh, and remember, the cooling off period, that works for me almost every time. If something takes a few weeks to get here, I've moved on with my life. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.